I did not quit my 9 to 5. I did not leave my 9 to 5.
Okay.
My 9 to 5 left me. I had a tussle that led to a full-blown court case.
Oh.
Yes. Hi, my name is Olamide. I'm the CEO of Butter & Bliss. Butter & Bliss is a baked goods manufacturer in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I'm a mom of 2. I'm married and I work full-time as a baker, of course, in my own bakery right now. Prior to, I think I started to bake full-time in 2025. Prior to 2025, I had a full-time job. And then from there, I took off and ventured into starting my own business full-time. So I have a very broad experience, so to say, work in terms of work experience. So I started my career as a customer service representative with MultiChoice way back then. And then I joined Chelarams PLC, where I worked, I did a lot of data-related work in the procurement department. And then I joined Nigerian Breweries PLC, where I worked as a sales analyst, kind of also data-related work. And then, but the funny thing about me is I've always been into pricing, so to say. So at every point in time, even when I had my full-time job, I don't think there's been any time where I didn't have something I was doing on the side.
Oh.
Yes. Because I remember that at some point I used to sell clothes. At one point I used to sell jewelry and wedding rings. And then, I had to drop all of that when I moved to Canada. I couldn't continue because I was running this as side hustle. It wasn't a business or a structured business per se. So those had to, go when I migrated to Canada. As a newcomer here, you need that security that comes from having a full-time job and a steady pay. So I didn't start business as soon as I got to Canada. I just, worked on myself, developed my career the more, took a bit more courses just to make sure that I have, the relevant knowledge for the right footing here. And I started to work on a 9 to 5. So I think I started business in my 4th year. I was joking with one of my friends recently. I said, but I don't have any source of entertainment. I don't watch TV. I get bored. You can't even take me to a cinema to watch a movie. Yes, you'll be shocked. I'll slip off in the middle of the most interesting movies. So full disclosure here. I did not quit my 9 to 5.
Oh, okay.
Or I did not leave my 9 to 5.
Okay.
My 9 to 5 left me. In my situation, full disclosure, because I would say that, see, it's, it sounds good to say, oh yes, I quit and I started. No, but that wasn't my story because I didn't also have the guts, you understand, to quit. So full disclosure, I did not quit my job, but the job wasn't there anymore. And then also I had time. So I was doing my business on the side when I had a job, but then I just found this as an opportunity to just invest more time and invest more resources and more energy into my business. And so you start to get that confidence to stay in the business when you see that what you are investing your time and energy in is yielding some kind of results. So it gives you that confidence to, okay, yeah, I can do this. It just takes that courage. There are some kinds of businesses that you can run on the side. If you have to make the decision on whether to quit your job or whether to run your business as a side hustle, you just have to re-examine yourself. What stage are you financially? You understand? How long can you run on low tank? How far can your savings take you? Those kind of questions. But yeah, so far so good. I haven't had any regret on my decision to run my business full time. I had some form of background in sales and I worked in a highly competitive environment. I worked in the alcoholic beverage industry. I was with Nigerian breweries. So we had Nigerian breweries, we had Guinness, we had international breweries, and it was very competitive. At one point when I was in core sales, my job would require, going to outlets, checking in, and I would really meet my competitors, like fellow sales people working for competition in the same outlet. You understand? In fact, let me tell you, I had a a tussle with one of the sales reps, I think for one of those breweries way back, that led to a full-blown court case.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. So we had an issue in trade that led to a full-blown court case. So I would say I kind of have a balanced view on competition. Number one, you watch your competition. See, there has to be competition.
Yeah.
You understand? There's no business that you can do and it's just you in the business. There's really no novel idea. And then even if you start something new, it's so novel and it's so new, somebody is going to copy you. There's definitely going to be copycats.
Yeah.
So here is two things that I do. I watch my competition. I watch them very closely. That's number one. And then number two, I see myself as my own competition. So, and I'll explain that better. Watching your competition means that somebody's going to be in the same business as you. But what are they doing? And how can I improve on it? And that's one. And then seeing yourself as your own competition is, how can I be better than I was yesterday? Because you can't focus too much on your competition. If you focus too much on your competition, then you become a copycat. And then you are always going to be one step behind your competition because that's your focus. But then when you are your own competition and the 70% of the time what you're striving to do is to be better than you were yesterday, how can I be more innovative with my products? How can I be more innovative in my marketing? How can I satisfy my customers better? So when you are those things, then you would succeed. But sometimes competition can even give you an advantage can be your own advantage to succeed. Somebody may never have come across my product. They may have come across my competition's products. What would endear them to my products might be because they are not satisfied with my competition's product. But they have this need. This person is not satisfying this need very well. And so they start to look for an alternative. And then they find me. Do what you know how to do and do it very well. I remember when I started my business, somebody said, oh, you can't price your product at this point because your competition, they're in business before you and they're pricing lower. And I said to her, your point is valid. Price is not the only reason why people buy.
Quality.
I have never believed in compromising on quality. My product quality is always great. I don't compromise on quality. I don't compromise on making my products premium, so to speak. I said my target market is the people who want good quality. My target market is people who want premium and who are willing to pay for premium. So I'm going to price based on value. I'm not going to price based on competition, because if you price based on competition, and that's what happens when people watch competition so much, when you are solely focused on competition and not try to be a better version of yourself and build products that, speaks real value. So I said, no, I appreciate that concern, but I'm pricing based on value. I'm not going to down price myself, because that will kick me out of business faster than pricing based on value would. At the point where you take your business from a side hustle to a business, then you have to start thinking about structure. Your business is not going to start as a business, because let me tell you what, a business has to be able to run without you. And you may not have that structure in the beginning, but the moment you start a business, you have to start thinking about structure. If you don't think about structure, your business is going to remain a hustle, and you can't grow from a hustle. You can't become a $1 million company from your hustle. Your sweat can't do everything. So the moment you are thinking business, the first thing you need to think about is, what do I need to do? What can only me do? And what do I need to outsource? What can other people do? Some people are in business, for example, like in baking, and they're like, how do you want to share? How would you share your recipe? If you share your recipe, then you train your competition. And I'm like, no. That's not how to think about it. Because somebody can never really copy you perfectly. There is much more to running a business than somebody having a recipe. See, I make meat pies. There's many people that make meat pies, right? And trust me, even if I give you my recipe, the outcome is going to be different. And there's how you can give a little and keep a little. Now I have an employee that works with me. They understand there's a part of the production that I handle, but I can't handle everything. What do I have to do? The only thing that I know that I have identified that I have to do, see, and this takes a lot of self-awareness and a lot of analysis and planning. What I know that I have to do is strategy. When it comes to the day-to-day grind, I cannot always be in it. Sometimes I am in it, but I make sure that I'm able to take a break from my desk every now and then and think big picture, because when you get lost in the daily grind, in the hustle, you can't think strategically, you can't think creatively if you get lost during the daily grind. Now, so I'll say that now that it's becoming a business per se, I have hires who work in the kitchen, and I'm also able to outsource some things. I outsource things like social media. Social media should not take the bulk of my time. I shouldn't be spending so much time editing videos, and when I can be thinking or working on, how do we find the next retail outlet? How do we, when I should be in those sales discussions and pitching to people, and those kind of things, for now, I think are things that I should take on, whilst some other people can add more value. One of the things that small business owners do is they hire the available person rather than hiring the suitable person, because we don't even have the resource, or we think we don't have the resource to hire right. So we just hire who's available. Like, okay, I have a friend's friend who's looking for a job, or my friend, my sister's friend, or my friend's brother is looking for a job, and then we just bring them on. You understand? So they might not really be passionate about what you do. They might not have the required skill sets. And what's the criteria that we are even hiring based on? We can't say for sure. You understand? But we just need to hire, and then just hire somebody, and we hope that they can get the work done. That's the number one pitfall for small business owners. Then the number two thing is structure. I would say structure. And structure is not just in hiring people and hoping that they get it right. Structure comes from, first thing is documentation. Do they really know their job description? Do they know what they're supposed to do every day? Somebody hires a staff, and the staff is supposed to attend to customers. You put them on your front desk to attend to customers, and you don't even as much as have phone etiquette manual for them. Like, this is how you take phone calls. Like, hi, hello, good morning. Thank you for calling Border Bliss. How may I help you today? How do they greet customers when customers come? You haven't told them. How do they handle complaint? A customer comes in, meets an employee and says, you guys, sold me bad products, blah, blah, blah. And then, because I had a similar experience, I ordered food from somewhere. They gave me something totally different. And then I called in, and the person was like, we're sorry. I said, so in situations like this, what are you supposed to do? No, I understand that you're sorry, but like, I don't want what you sold to me. What are you supposed to do? What? And from the person's question, it shows that they've not been equipped on how to handle. See, some things should be crystal clear. If you mix up an order, here's what you need to do. If you mix up an order, apologize to the customer, ask them if they want a replacement, or they can accept a partial refund. If they want a replacement, if they picked up the order, ask them if they would like to pick up and when, or ask them if they want to pick up some other day. If they want a partial refund, this is how much we can offer. Say the product is $50. We can only offer 50% partial refund. So your employee has to know exactly what to do. But we just hire them and hope for the best. How are we documenting our processes? Do we have standard operating procedure? Because before you come and shout that, the employees are just messing up, have you done your part as a small business owner to train them properly? We like to run from documentation is hard work. We like to run away from things like documentation, things like looking at our figures, numbers. It's a struggle for small business owners, because we'd rather be talking to customers and be taking those orders and be hustling and be in the grind. But sometimes you need to take a step back from that grind and focus on these important things. So if you train your staff properly, they are more likely to perform well. If you are getting burnt by staff, you need to take a step back and analyze. See, they say, man, know thyself. You have to analyze the situation properly before you put the blame on the staff, on the employee. You have to try to really think about what is wrong. from all the sides of the coin, that's when you can address the issue properly. Like I always say, I started my business from home. I started, selling to my family, my friends. Matter of fact, if I tell you my story, my first customer that I sold meat pies to literally convinced me to, like, when somebody is convincing you to take an order, why would you say you won't sell it? You do this thing so well. What do you mean you won't sell? And I'm like, no, I'm not selling. I just make them. No. I've never had to. I don't like food. I don't eat that much. But when I had your meat pies, I came to beg for more. Do you know what that means? Like I swallowed my pride. I came to beg for more. And I'm like, okay. So we were on that phone call for maybe close to like 15 minutes. I said, okay, how many do you want? She said 2 dozens. I'm like, okay, I'll make it. She was like, okay, send me your account number right now. I'm like, okay. At one point when I started to, work in the commercial kitchen and sell my products, I used to tell myself, is this a business or a bad habit? Like an expensive bad habit now, like something that you cannot just stop doing, but you're not making money, but you're just doing it. You understand? Just because, hey, well, people like it. I'm always getting good feedback. People be like, oh, you made this. Wow, fantastic. And I'm like, okay, so I have to, at some points, really, really tell myself, if I need to grow, I have to do what's necessary to grow, because the thought of, working long term and your costs continue to outweigh your profits. And that's when, the thought of starting to put structure in place then sets in. But the good thing then is, because I had income from a job, I was able to support my bad habits. You understand? Regardless of whether it was profitable in the beginning or not. Okay, final words I would say is, yes, if you binge less on Netflix, you might realize that you have that extra 1 hour every day to put into something that develops you. At the end of the day, truth be told, not everybody's going to do business. Yeah. But if it's developing yourself in your career or in business, you understand. So just always take time off and make sure that you are a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. And finally, there's nothing too small to be grown. So there's nothing too small. You have to just look and say, what do I have in my hands, and water it, and with a lot of hard work and innovation and commitments, it will grow.